Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
You are listening to the Hiking Radio Network, where we talk the walk with shows by hikers, about hikers, for everybody.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning.
Welcome to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast, with the spotlight on section hikers.
And I'll spread the word, and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come. And we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Jester Section Hiker Podcast, episode number 144. I am your host, Julie Jester Gayheart, and it should be no surprise that I have Austin here with me for this episode. So welcome back to the show, Austin.
What's up, sports fans?
And first and foremost, I want to say to everyone that has listened to us, I'm going to say the past 5 episodes.
For both of you that have made it through all those episodes.
Yes. Thank all of you. Yes. All 2 of you that have made it, me and Austin, that have made it through those episodes. I want to say thank you very much. I want to say thank you very much to everyone that not only listened to the podcast, but went over to Austin's YouTube channel and watched our first film series titled I Am The MST. And if you haven't, we want you guys to go check the series out. You can find it over on Austin's channel, one more time, Side Trail Adventures. And we want you guys to like it and leave us some comments, because Austin, the number one compliment, I think, out of this whole series, and this is how I want to start this episode off, is when people started commenting. I got emails, I got Instagram DMs, and I saw it on your YouTube comments. When people were putting in the comments, they were saying their name, and then they would put comma, I am the MST.
I love it. Absolutely love it. That, yes, because that meant that they got it. That the message we were trying to send was received. So as a creator, that was definitely one of those moments.
And everybody knows I've been extremely emotional, since I don't know how long, months, I have been emotional. And when I got my first email, it was actually from the executive director of the Fowler O'Sullivan Foundation, Kathy Tarr. Like when the trailer came out, she was the first email that I got. And she literally wrote, I am the MST in the email. Awesome. And I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. And this is the trailer.
Yeah.
And she has emailed me every week.
That's
saying,
so cool.
Like, thank you. This is incredible. This is amazing.
Well, that means a lot. That means a lot.
And we have gotten some amazing comments. And I want to read one that I got today that Austin hasn't seen.
Surprises.
And this it really, I can't even think of the word. It really encapsulates, or whatever words you want, but it puts it all together. So I got this today on Instagram, and this individual said, I think I've already said this to you, but I don't think I can say it too much. You and Austin have done an amazing job on the documentary. I can't explain it, but I feel like every episode I end up being choked up by the story you're telling about the trail that means so much to me and my family. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
What's that make you feel like, Austin?
humbled.
Yeah.
I mean, it's humbling to try to tell the story of the Mountains to Sea Trail, because that was one of the things that you and I were worried about. You know, that was one of the things we stressed about when we were trying to plan and formulate ideas and storylines. That was like one of the things that we really stressed about. And then to be able to create something that other people can connect with, that draws out those passions, those same passions that we have, that draws those passions out of people that we've never met. That's humbling for me, to be able to see the effects of what we've done for other people. Because I've seen not just the one that you just read, but I've seen that on the YouTube comments too, where they've said, you know, we either already know about the MST or we've hiked it before in the past, but this has reinvigorated us. Or the ones that I've never heard of the MST, but this looks amazing. I am definitely putting it on my list. Like all of those, that's the point. That was the whole point of the whole project. And so I think it's humbling to think about where the series will take people, where the series will take the trail. I hope that we're just seeing kind of the beginning of it.
I know, it's interesting. And I copied and pasted another one here because I thought, now we've hit the big time. This comment says, beautifully done video. Chica and Sunsets just might have to hike this trail in the near future. Now, I don't know if everybody knows who Chica and Sunsets are.
But they're big time.
But so,
I said they're big time.
So Chica and Sunsets, I don't know what year, they're very avid hikers. They've hiked internationally. They've hiked the Appalachian Trail. They've hiked the Ice Age Trail. They've hiked the Colorado Trail. And I know of them because of the Appalachian Trail. They have a hostel in Franklin, North Carolina. And one of my goals is, since we are based in North Carolina, and, you know, this video series is about the Mountains to Sea Trail, internally, one of my goals is everybody and anybody that's a hiker, I want them on the Mountains to Sea Trail. So for this comment to come up, this was on the trailer from Chica and Sunsets. If you guys are listening to this, we're holding you to it. And I just thought that was great. And then here's another one. I have several here. This one says, this individual just had watched episodes 1 and 2. And this person says, both are so well and professionally done. Everything from the wonderful voice of the narrator. And in parentheses, it says who?
Some guy we got off the street. I threw him a 20. Said, here, read this.
So the romantic voice of the narrator, of course, is Austin. And I don't know, should we tell him the story about where I tried to narrate and I thought I sounded like, actually, it sounded like to me I was trying to call a sports game. I didn't like it at all. So Austin was, you know, being kind and saying, hey, you know, you could do a voiceover too, Jester. So I tried it.
I felt like we both needed to be a part of the project, but I like. So maybe this is where we talk about our creative process. Well, we're both
a part of the project, but my voice, when my voice mixes with your voice, that romantic, like ooh, it doesn't sound right.
Well, you know, and I think this is a credit to how we work together, because it could have been an awkward situation where it's like, Julie, you know, like if something doesn't work creatively, you know, how do we have those potentially awkward conversations? And it wasn't awkward because you were like, but it was like, I was almost holding on to it longer than you were. Cause you're like, no, we don't need my voice in there anymore. It's just going to be you. We have another way to incorporate me into this. Is you coming from you. This is, I can incorporate you into the videos other ways besides your voice. And it worked out.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't feel bad about it at all. I was like, this could not be. I don't know what has happened to me, but no matter how I read that, it just didn't sound like it was supposed to sound. And that's okay. It didn't bother me. It actually bothered me more. It would have bothered me more if we would have left me in because I knew it wasn't right.
All the podcast episodes that we have recorded together, but we can't do video episodes together. Sorry.
No, we can't do. But other than that, so thank you everybody for your wonderful comments. I think we only got 1 thumbs down, I think. Or did we get more?
And check. I think we got maybe 2.
Well. Which
I've never, this is like a YouTubeism. I've never really understood why people thumbs down a video.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know it has to do with like the algorithm, and like the algorithm won't show you stuff like that anymore. But like,
yeah, misery loves company. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but what I told you when we got our first thumbs down, I was like, that means every big YouTuber gets thumbs downs or thumbs down. So that just means we're in the big time now.
Yeah,
we've got a larger audience.
We've made it. We have haters.
We've arrived. We've got haters. I don't know why you would possibly want to hate on the MST, but whatever.
I don't know.
The internet.
I don't know. People are crazy. The internet. That's all we could say. So, I've got 2 more things I want to talk about. I Am The MST, and people are probably sick of us talking about it at this point, and then we're going to kind of move on to Austin's role at Woods Hole Hostel. But before we get to that, before we get to that, I want to say something. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't think I've said this out loud. So everybody's going to hear this for the first time, including you, Austin. In all my hiking, I always had this, when I was working on the Appalachian Trail, or when I was out on the Wonderland Trail, or any trail you're on the Mountains of Sea Trail, finishing a section, whatever you're doing, I always had this sense of I'm going to feel a certain way when I finish this task, or when I finish this trail, or, this section hike. I should feel a certain way. And even when I summited Katahdin, or, we took that last step around Mount Rainier, I never felt the way I feel about this project. There is some sense of accomplishment, pride, hard work, ethics, laying it all on the line, you and I working together, that gives me a great sense of accomplishment that I have never felt after a hike, that I've really never felt on a job, something that I got paid to do. So there's something to be said for this project. And I know that not everything is going to feel like this, but I truly believe I feel like this is because it really came from my heart. And I feel like that's why I've been so emotional.
Yeah. That's why it just kind of, like, none of it was really easy, but in a way it was, because it was just something that felt right. It was something that we were both passionate about. And so the effort was not easy, but putting forth, I don't know how to say it right without, I know it's hard to say. Yeah. It was easy, but it wasn't easy. That's as simply as I can put it.
Yeah, it was not easy.
And then
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and the one thing, and this is using hiking as a metaphor, but the process, once we finished filming, and it was time to edit, the edit for the trailer and the 4 episodes was like a long distance hike for me. And it was something I was excited to do, but I knew it was going to be a lot of work. And there were some low points where I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know what this storyline is going to look like, or I've got 50 minutes of footage in front of me that needs to be 20. And I've got to cut this stuff down. I've got to find the nuggets that are important. We've got to decide what doesn't support the storyline. But I mean, there were high points too, and it was almost, it's almost good in a way that we ran. This is the first time anybody will hear it, but we're way behind on the editing.
Yeah.
Our original line in the sand where we wanted to have everything complete was September 1st, because then we could concentrate on, advertising and putting things out and pushing stuff on social media. And that is not the case. We're about as far behind, cutting it as close as we possibly can as far as finishing the last episode. And so as these episodes were coming out, I was still working on, episodes 3 and 4.
One.
Yeah. And I was still working on the next one. And so, in one step, I'm super stressed out about how in the heck are we going to put this together? How in the heck is this how are we going to make this something that people want to watch and connect with? But in the same breath, it was almost better this way, because when I was in those low points, you were there to pick me up. You were there to say, you got this, or you would help write voiceovers or look up, titles, or, think about storylines. And then we would get the positive feedback from the releases of the trailer and the first episode and that kind of thing. And that is what helped me push through, especially this last episode, the legacy. I had legit writer's block, whatever they call writer's block for video editors. That's what I had for episode 4. It was, I actually, for one of the first times ever since I started video editing, I avoided sitting down and editing. Like, it used to be like something I would do to kind of get my mind off of things, but I was stressed out. I did not even want to open up, the program and try to do anything, because I was just so like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to sit in front of that timeline and I'm not going to know what to do. And but you helped me get through that.
Yeah, I did sense that from you. And one of our last conversations, that we really talked about before that episode, we were both really tired that night. Yeah. And I had an idea, and we probably spent an hour trying to figure out, how we might instill this idea into that episode, the legacy. And ultimately, we ran out of time to figure out how to produce that particular idea. Now, yeah. I haven't left that idea alone. I mean, people may see it in the future, but that evening, we were a couple hours at least, if not more.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is when I went to sleep that night, I woke up the next morning and I was like, I sensed it from you. I don't even know. And I just, at work the next day, during my planning, I was in my office and I was like, I have to write, and I have to write now. And I just got out the video and I was like, nope, that's got to be cut. Nope, that's too long. Nope, I'm sorry. Whoever's feelings we might hurt, and kind of just went through the story, and I sent it to you and I was like, he's either going to like it or he's going to hate it, or we're going to have another conversation. It
was a godsend, because it was exactly because even after we got off that night, and I was, the idea that we were kicking around is possible. It's 100% possible, but I don't have the expertise to create it from scratch. And so either trying to, either learn how to do it or get somebody else to do it. It was just stressing me the heck out, because I knew, it was like going back to the mosaic. Like, it was something in my head that I was like, oh, that's exactly what we need. And that mosaic took an embarrassing amount of time to put together. But but I was really happy with the outcome, and I really think it captured what we were trying to do. And I think what we're trying to do, we're dancing around this, not telling anybody what the idea is.
No, because we never know, we might use it.
Yeah, but I felt the same way about this one. But it was just like, that mosaic took me,
hours.
dozens of hours to put together, and we just didn't have that time. And so it was that was what the realization came to me the next day. And then when you sent all that information, I was like, perfect. It was still a challenge for me, but it felt good to have a partner in this journey. because I was like, because there's just no way I could have done it by myself. So thank you.
Well, you know what? I don't know how this works, but I could just sense it from you. And it was, and even in the Partners episode, when I came to you, we didn't talk about this in the podcast because we recorded the previous podcast.
Yeah.
So by the way, we recorded all 4 of those episodes in one day. And that was quite the task itself. So we haven't talked about this either. And each episode is a standalone episode by itself. But when we got to episode 3, I was like, what if we do this without a voiceover? And Austin was like, what? And I'm like, you know how like when you're watching something, you hear people, you see, you hear typing. Yeah. And that's literally where that idea came from. I was thinking about definitions of partners, and I was actually like looking up definitions of partnership and entrepreneurship and partners, trying to figure out how we could twist a different idea into that episode. And that's just where it came from. It's kind of like the title, I Am The MST. I kind of remember where it came from, but at this point, it just encompasses everything. So yeah, it's been quite the journey. And, so it's been amazing. And here we are, the first weekend in October. And another thing I'm really proud to say, and I don't know how we'll talk about this. We didn't compromise anything. And I guess what I mean by that is we didn't, if you and I decided something was going to stay in, it stayed in. If we cut, an interview that we didn't, we just didn't have enough time to show it, we made the decision to cut it. We put my voice in, we took my voice out. It was like, we just didn't compromise the overall ending and what we wanted people to get out of the series. And I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think telling the story of the trail as we see it, and not being afraid to express who we are and how we feel about it, I think is one of the very important things that I walked away from this project with.
Yeah. And that's a great feeling. It's kind of like hike your own hike.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As overused as that saying is, it's definitely a hike your own hike situation.
So, I guess needless to say, we are very proud of what we've done. It's been hard work. Austin's bought a lot of new equipment and things that we are hopefully going to use in the future. Yeah. And really, in about 7 days, we are going to be utilizing some of Austin's new equipment. You guys have heard in the past 4 episodes, the weekend of October 6th through the 9th, we are going to be at the Woods Hole Hostel, the Hiking Radio Network, in conjunction with Neville Harris, the owner of Woods Hole Hostel. We are having what we call the Woods Hole Weekend. And really what that weekend is, it's camaraderie between all the fellow participants that are going to join us. And we are going to go hiking. We are going to talk about hiking till we're sick of talking about hiking. And we have invited individuals, anybody out there. And I actually think if you called Neville right now, I will leave all of the information in today's show notes. You could probably still get in on the weekend because the fellowship that's going to happen, it's going to be myself, it's going to be Austin, it's going to be Mighty Blue, the owner of the Hiking Radio Network, Paul Collins, or Skunk Ape, who now has his own podcast, and Clay Bonnyman. Yeah, Clay. Oh my God. The amazing Clay Bonnyman Evans, otherwise known as Pony. And we are going to be doing workshops for about 3 days on tactics and ways to hike your dream on the Appalachian Trail, whether you are going to through hike or section hike. And about a week ago, we had a call or a Zoom with all of us. And it was the first time Austin was with the Hiking Radio Network crew. And Austin, I'm going to turn it over to you to see what you think.
Well, I was, it's, I think I said this before. It's humbling to be a part of that group. I think the most humbling part was when Mighty Blue asked me if I would want to do a presentation on, doing vlogs on trail and that kind of thing. Because I had viewed it as, I'm being included to help with the video portion, which we haven't talked about yet. But
yeah, so maybe we should talk about. We've alluded to your role. So we have this Zoom call. So finish up with that, and then we'll talk about your role. Yeah.
So, but long story short, I was under the impression that I would be behind the camera for the entire weekend, which I'm totally cool with. You hadn't met Mighty Blue. I could have warned you that, but okay. but just being asked to contribute content to the workshops was humbling, because it's like, why would anybody want to know what I have to say? So that was humbling, and then just to, like I said, be among that group with Clay and Skunk Ape and you and Mighty Blue and really just kind of be a part of something that I've never been a part of before. This is my first, I've done collaborations and with River King Pete and, he's a very good friend of mine, along with, Kevin and Brian and Dirt Dauber and all the River King crew. But this is a different relationship. This is more of I don't even know how to describe it.
It's undescribable.
Well, yes. I mean, it's like, I keep thinking about Clay and his personality.
Clay.
But no, I was just, I guess I was very humbled and very thankful to be included. Even if it's just a limited role, that's plenty for me.
Well, I don't think it's a limited role, but without giving everything away, tell us a little bit about tell the audience a little bit about what you're going to be doing and maybe kind of how you're thinking about, you're filming.
Yeah.
And this is way more, than, hey, just coming out and putting, a little video together. This is something that, in conglomeration with the Hiking Radio Network, we're looking to continue to do in the future. So no pressure.
Well, we'll see how you like it. No, so this will be the Hiking Radio Network, in addition to putting on these workshops, want to create a video version that can be accessed online. And so very much like a master class in a way, of video versions of each of these workshops, so that anybody that can't physically come to the workshops can still get that experience. And so that is my job, is to create that video experience from the weekend. So everything that happens from the beginning of when people get out of their cars and start meeting the presenters for the first time, all the way through the workshops, the experience of being in the hostel, the interactions with the participants, with the presenters, with the hostel owners, and just capturing as much as possible, not just the information of how to through hike or how to section hike the Appalachian Trail, but the community and just that feel. So that's my job for the weekend. And so
you're the director. Mighty Blue said very specifically, Austin, you're going to have to tell us what to do.
I can do that. That's definitely a big step for me.
And I think you're a little more comfortable now after meeting everybody, because I tried to explain to you, hey, Mighty Blue will probably say, you're going to have to tell us what to do. And sure enough, he said,
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. But it's a big step for me professionally, because, I have never been to film school. Everything I've done has been through just teaching myself and learning from mistakes. And there's still a ton that I need to learn. But this is my first step towards being a professional creator. And so I cannot say how excited I am about it. Turning, and this is my call to everyone. Don't be afraid to turn your passions into something, because for the longest time, and my wife can attest to this. I've said, I enjoy making videos, like going out and doing the trip videos, and really I've evolved. I still do trip videos. I've still got some footage in the bank to crank out some good old fashioned trip videos, but I really enjoy creating. And how do I turn that passion for creating into something more than just making trip videos? And so Woods Hole is that step for me. So professionally, and creatively, I'm super, super excited about it, and very grateful that Hiking Radio Network was foolish enough to choose
me. Listen, you're part of the Hiking Radio Network family now, whether you like it or not.
Well, thank you very much.
So listen, you guys, I think we are maybe at a good point. I don't know. Oh my God, 30 minutes, Austin. We may have done it.
Let's talk about something else so we can.
I know we are. we are. We're going to come back. So again, thank you everyone so much for embracing this project Austin and I have been working on, the film series, I Am The MST. We are truly appreciative, very thankful and grateful. And next weekend, we will be at Woods Hole. Please, 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 if you want to join us, if you want to be part of the workshops, if you want to learn, if you want to hang out, it does cost money. I'm not quite sure at this point if there might be a seat or two left, but I will leave the information in the show notes. You can go over to hikingradionetwork.com, click on the Jester Section Hiker Show, and everything will be in today's episode number 144. Next week, you guys are going to hear from, he's not new to the network because I believe he's been a guest on several of our shows. He helps me tremendously on my show. His name is Paul Collins, or you guys know him as Skunk Ape. I think he's been on my show twice. Next week, he's going to come on. We're going to talk about his new podcast and his venture into a new role that he never thought he would be doing, and that is being his own podcast host. So you guys are going to hear from Paul next week, and then the following week, you're going to hear from Austin and I again. So
you're stuck with me.
Stuck with Austin for a while.
Yeah.
So, all right, you guys, here Austin and I go. We'll see if we can get it right this time. So thanks for listening. Be safe out there. Happy section hiking.
And good times.
I'm wondering if you'd go wandering with me through the wilderness and woods to where the winds are blowing free, through the darkness of the night, heading toward the morning light. I wonder if you'd wander with me, and I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods. You're wondering if I go wandering with you, what kind of trouble we'll get ourselves into. Would it be wrong to tag along with a band of vagabonds? You wonder if I'd wander with you. So I'll spread the word and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets and these neighborhoods, head over the river. I'm wondering if you'd come wandering my way. If you ever get lost, or if the trail leads you astray, the music of the pack can always bring you back. I wonder, can we wander away? And I'll spread the word, and you beat the drum. We'll round up the troops and get the gang to come, and we'll leave the streets in these neighborhoods, head over the river and through the woods.
Wells Fargo presents one of the surest ways to grow your money, a Wells Fargo CD account, where you can earn a 5.00% annual percentage yield on an 11-month term with a minimum opening deposit of $5,000. Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/CD rates to open a CD account and start growing your savings with us.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.